Let's talk about something that silently affects millions of people: plaque in your arteries. Most people think clogged arteries only happen when you're old. But the truth is, plaque buildup can start much earlier, sometimes even in your 30s. And the scary part is that you usually don't feel anything until it becomes serious. But here's the good news. Your body actually has natural mechanisms that can help clean and protect your arteries. And certain nutrients can support this process in a powerful way. Before we get into those nutrients, it's important to understand what plaque really is. Plaque is a mixture of cholesterol, calcium, inflammatory cells, and fatty substances that stick to the walls of your arteries. Over time, this buildup narrows the arteries and makes it harder for blood to flow. That can lead to serious problems like heart attacks and strokes. But plaque doesn't just randomly appear. It usually develops because of chronic inflammation, oxidative stress, high insulin levels, and nutrient deficiencies when your body lacks certain nutrients. The arteries become more vulnerable to damage. Once the inner lining of the artery is damaged, cholesterol and other particles start sticking to that area, forming plaque. So the real strategy is not just lowering cholesterol. The real goal is reducing inflammation and strengthening the arteries. One of the most important nutrients for this is vitamin K2. Vitamin K2 plays a critical role in calcium metabolism. Without enough vitamin K2, calcium can end up in the wrong places in the body, especially inside the arteries. This contributes to arterial calcification, which is a major component of plaque. Vitamin K2 helps activate a protein called matrix GLA protein. This protein works like a traffic controller for calcium, directing it away from arteries and into the bones where it belongs. When people are deficient in vitamin K2, calcium tends to accumulate in the arteries instead of strengthening the bones. Another powerful nutrient is magnesium. Magnesium helps relax blood vessels and improves circulation, but it also helps prevent calcium buildup in the arteries. Magnesium works closely with vitamin K2 and vitamin D to regulate calcium properly in the body. Unfortunately, many people are magnesium deficient because modern soils are depleted and processed foods contain very little magnesium. When magnesium levels are low, arteries can become stiff and more prone to plaque buildup. Now let's talk about omega-3 fatty acids. Omega-3s are extremely powerful when it comes to reducing inflammation. Chronic inflammation is one of the main drivers of plaque formation. Omega-3 help lower inflammatory markers and support healthy blood flow. They also reduce triglycerides and improve the flexibility of blood vessels, making it harder for plaque to form and stick to artery walls. Another very important nutrient is vitamin C. Most people think vitamin C is just for the immune system, but it's actually critical for the health of your arteries. Vitamin C is required to produce collagen, which helps maintain the structural integrity of blood vessels. When the body doesn't have enough vitamin C, the arterial walls can become weaker and more susceptible to damage. This damage can trigger the body to deposit cholesterol as a type of repair patch, which contributes to plaque formation. Vitamin C also acts as a powerful antioxidant that helps protect arteries from oxidative stress. Another key nutrient that supports artery health is vitamin E, especially in its natural form. Vitamin E helps prevent the oxidation of LDL cholesterol. Oxidized LDL is particularly harmful because it is much more likely to stick to the arterial walls and contribute to plaque buildup. By protecting LDL from oxidation, vitamin E helps reduce the risk of plaque formation. There's also a nutrient that many people don't talk about enough, and that's CoQ10. CoQ1 sexual plays a crucial role in energy production inside your cells, especially in the heart muscle. The heart requires enormous amounts of energy to pump blood continuously. CoQ10 also acts as a powerful antioxidant that protects blood vessels from oxidative damage. Interestingly, many people who take statin medications become depleted in CoQ10 because these drugs block the pathway that produces it. When CoQ10 levels drop, it can affect heart health and energy levels. Garlic is another natural compound that has been shown to support artery health. Garlic contains sulfur compounds that help reduce inflammation, improve circulation, and support healthy cholesterol levels. Some studies suggest that garlic may even slow the progression of plaque buildup. Then there's a trace mineral that's often overlooked, and that's selenium. Selenium supports powerful antioxidant enzymes that protect blood vessels from oxidative stress and inflammation. Low selenium levels have been associated with increased cardiovascular risk. And finally, one of the most powerful nutrients for your arteries is actually something your body makes when you're exposed to sunlight. Vitamin D. Vitamin D helps regulate inflammation, supports immune balance, and plays a role in maintaining healthy blood vessels. Low vitamin D levels have been strongly linked to cardiovascular disease and increased arterial stiffness. Now, here's something very important to understand. Nutrients alone won't fix the problem if the diet continues to drive inflammation. High sugar intake, refined carbohydrates, seed oils, and ultra-processed foods all contribute to chronic inflammation and high insulin levels. And high insulin levels accelerate plaque formation. This is why controlling carbohydrates and focusing on nutrient-dense foods can make a huge difference in artery health. When you combine the right nutrients with a diet that lowers inflammation, you give your body the best possible environment to protect and maintain healthy arteries. And the amazing thing is that the body is constantly trying to repair itself. When you provide the nutrients it needs and remove the factors that cause damage, your body can start working in your favor instead of against you. And that's really the key to protecting your heart and your arteries long term. Most people believe that plaque in the arteries forms simply because cholesterol is too high. This idea has been repeated for decades, but the real process is much more complex. Plaque buildup is primarily driven by chronic inflammation, oxidative stress, and deficiencies in key nutrients that protect the blood vessels. Your arteries are lined with a very thin layer of cells called the endothelium. This inner lining is extremely important because it controls blood flow, prevents clotting, and keeps the artery wall smooth so that blood can move easily. When this lining is healthy, it acts like a protective barrier. But when it becomes damaged, the entire environment inside the artery begins to change. Inflammation is one of the biggest triggers that damages this protective lining. When someone regularly consumes large amounts of sugar, refined carbohydrates, and ultra-processed foods, insulin levels increase in inflammatory chemicals start circulating through the bloodstream. These inflammatory signals irritate the endothelial lining of the arteries. Once inflammation begins damaging the artery wall, the body starts a repair process. Cholesterol particles move toward the damaged area because cholesterol is actually part of the body's natural repair system. It acts like a patch that helps stabilize injured tissue. However, when inflammation continues day after day, more and more cholesterol and other particles accumulate at the same location. Oxidative stress makes the situation worse. Oxidative stress occurs when there are too many unstable molecules called free radicals in the body. These molecules can damage cells and tissues, including the cells that line the arteries. Oxidative stress can come from poor diet, smoking, pollution, chronic stress, and lack of antioxidants. When cholesterol particles are exposed to oxidative stress, they can become oxidized. Oxidized cholesterol behaves very differently than normal cholesterol. It becomes sticky and much more likely to embed itself into the artery wall. Immune cells then move in to clean up the damaged area, but this process can create a growing mass made of fats, immune cells, calcium, and connective tissue. Over time, this buildup forms what we call plaque. Instead of the artery wall being smooth and flexible, it becomes thicker and stiffer. Blood flow through the artery becomes more restricted, and pressure inside the vessel increases. Another important factor in plaque formation is nutrient deficiency. The body requires specific vitamins and minerals to maintain healthy arteries and prevent damage. When these nutrients are missing, the natural repair and protection systems of the body become weaker. For example, certain nutrients help control inflammation, protect cells from oxidative damage, and regulate how calcium moves through the body. Without enough of these nutrients, the arteries are more vulnerable to injury and calcification. Calcium can begin accumulating inside the artery wall instead of staying in the bones where it belongs. Magnesium, vitamin K2, vitamin C, and other protective nutrients are essential for maintaining the structure and flexibility of blood vessels. When the diet lacks these nutrients, the arterial walls become more fragile and more prone to damage. Chronic inflammation combined with oxidative stress and nutrient deficiencies creates the perfect environment for plaque to develop and grow inside the arteries. Certain nutrients play a powerful role in protecting the arteries and supporting the body's natural ability to control plaque buildup. These nutrients work in different ways, but together they help reduce inflammation, protect blood vessels from damage, and regulate how minerals and fats behave inside the bloodstream. One of the most important nutrients for artery health is vitamin K2. Vitamin K2 has a unique role in controlling where calcium goes in the body. Calcium is essential for strong bones, but when it accumulates inside the arteries, it can contribute to plaque and arterial stiffness. Vitamin K2 activates special proteins that guide calcium into the bones and teeth while preventing it from settling in the artery walls. When vitamin K2 levels are low, calcium can slowly deposit in soft tissues, including blood vessels. Magnesium is another critical nutrient for cardiovascular health. Magnesium helps relax the smooth muscles that surround blood vessels, allowing arteries to remain flexible and maintain healthy blood pressure. It also plays a key role in regulating calcium balance in the body. Magnesium works together with vitamin K2 and vitamin D to keep calcium properly distributed. Low magnesium levels are very common because many modern diets rely heavily on processed foods that contain very little of this mineral. Omega-3 fatty acids are well known for their anti-inflammatory properties. Chronic inflammation is one of the major contributors to playful. K development and omega-3s help calm this inflammatory response. They help reduce inflammatory molecules circulating in the bloodstream and support the flexibility of blood vessels. Omega-3 fatty acids also help lower triglycerides, which are a type of fat in the blood associated with cardiovascular risk. Vitamin C plays a vital role in maintaining the structure of the arteries. Blood vessels depend on collagen for strength and elasticity, and vitamin C is essential for the production of collagen. Without enough vitamin C, the walls of blood vessels may become weaker and more prone to injury. Vitamin C also acts as a strong antioxidant, helping neutralize free radicals that cause oxidative stress and damage to the artery lining. Vitamin E is another antioxidant that supports cardiovascular protection. One of its key functions is helping prevent the oxidation of LDL cholesterol. When LDL becomes oxidized, it becomes more harmful and more likely to stick to the artery walls. Vitamin E helps protect these particles from oxidative damage and reduces the likelihood of them contributing to plaque buildup. Coenzyme Q10, often called CoQ10, is extremely important for heart health because it helps cells produce energy. The heart muscle requires a constant and large supply of energy to pump blood throughout the body. CoQ10 supports this energy production inside the mitochondria of cells. It also acts as an antioxidant, protecting both the heart muscle and blood vessels from oxidative stress. Selenium is a trace mineral that supports powerful antioxidant enzymes in the body. These enzymes help neutralize free radicals and reduce oxidative damage inside blood vessels. Adequate selenium levels help maintain a balanced immune response and protect the delicate lining of the arteries. Vitamin D also contributes to artery health by regulating inflammation and supporting the Fu. Connection of the immune system, healthy vitamin D levels are associated with better vascular function and improved regulation of blood pressure. Low vitamin D levels have been linked with increased arterial stiffness and higher cardiovascular risk. What you eat on a daily basis has a major influence on whether plaque continues to build inside the arteries or whether the body is able to maintain healthier blood vessels. Many of the modern foods that people consume regularly create the exact conditions that allow plaque to form and grow. High amounts of sugar, refined carbohydrates, and ultra-processed foods can significantly increase inflammation inside the body. When a person consumes large amounts of sugar or refined carbohydrates such as white bread, pastries, sweet drinks, and processed snacks, blood sugar levels rise quickly. The body responds by releasing insulin in order to move that sugar out of the bloodstream and into the cells. When this process happens repeatedly throughout the day, insulin levels remain elevated for long periods of time. Chronically high insulin levels create a number of problems that affect artery health. High insulin encourages the body to store more fat and increases the production of triglycerides in the liver. Elevated triglycerides are associated with a higher risk of plaque formation. High insulin levels also promote inflammation, which can damage the delicate inner lining of the arteries. As inflammation continues to irritate the artery walls, the body begins a repair process that can attract cholesterol particles to the damaged area. Over time, these particles combine with inflammatory cells, calcium deposits, and connective tissue to form plaque. When this process continues for years, the plaque gradually becomes thicker and can narrow the arteries. Highly processed foods often contain refined vegetable oils that are unstable and exposed to heat and oxygen. These oils can contribute to oxidative stress in the body. Oxidative stress increases the amount of free radicals circulating in the bloodstream, which can damage the cells that line the arteries. Once this lining becomes injured, plaque formation becomes more likely. Ultra-processed foods are also typically low in the vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants that protect the cardiovascular system. When the diet lacks these protective nutrients, the body loses some of its ability to control inflammation and repair damaged tissues effectively. Shifting toward nutrient-dense foods can help create a healthier environment inside the body. Foods that contain natural vitamins, minerals, healthy fats, and antioxidants support the body's ability to maintain flexible and resilient blood vessels. Whole foods provide the building blocks needed for cellular repair and help regulate inflammatory processes. Reducing refined sugar and processed carbohydrates can also help stabilize blood sugar levels and reduce the constant spikes in insulin. When insulin levels become more balanced, the body produces fewer inflammatory signals and metabolic stress on the arteries begins to decrease. Healthy fats from whole food sources can support cardiovascular health by improving lipid balance and helping maintain stable energy levels. Foods rich in natural antioxidants help protect the arteries from oxidative damage and support the immune system's ability to manage inflammation. When the diet focuses more on whole, nutrient-rich foods and avoids excessive processed products, the internal environment of the body becomes much less favorable for plaque development. The blood vessels experience less irritation, oxidative stress is reduced, and the natural repair systems of the body are able to function more efficiently.